Friends, I'm starting a new lecture here. This is on Indian Contract Act 1872. Okay, let us discuss a brief overview of this particular act before we discuss the each and every concept of this act in detail. Okay, this particular act, when you see the title of this particular act, Indian Contract Act 1872, the first question comes on our mind is, what is contract? What is contract? So what is contract? According to this act, contract means an agreement which is enforceable by law. Enforceable by law. Okay. So contract includes two major elements. One is agreement and the second one is enforceable by law. Let us look into this. What is agreement and what is enforceable by law? Okay, agreement is having two parts. One is offer and the second one is acceptance, or it is also called as promise. Okay, what is offer? One person says his willingness to sell something or perform certain actions. Okay, for example, A says, I am ready to sell my car at 2,50,000. So this is an offer. Okay, one person who expresses his willingness to perform certain action. Okay, and then the other person who says, like B, he says, I accept this offer. Okay, then it is called as an acceptance. So to form an agreement, there should be two necessary elements. One is offer and the second one is acceptance. And also the third element is consideration. Whatever amount we discussed here, it is a consideration. Okay, summarily we will be discussing these terms in detail later on: contract, agreement, offer, acceptance, promise and consideration. Okay, moving to the other leg. Enforceable by law. What does enforceable by law mean? In case of any conflict, can this agreement be taken to a court for a resolution? To do that, contract or agreement must have three major characteristics. It should be signed by competent parties. Competent parties. Okay, and then there should be a free consent. What is free consent? The consent of parties should not be taken by way of fraud, by pressure or threatening and other things. It should be a free consent by both the parties, and then legality of object. Okay. The objective of the contract should be legal. In the example what we discussed, they are trying to buy and sell a car for a consideration. The objective of the contract or this agreement is legal. Okay. To enforce the contract in a court, there should be three characteristics. Okay, once the agreement and the enforceable by law, both the elements are met, then the contract will be executed. Okay, once the contract is done, the next important step is both have to discharge of contract. Okay, both the parties have to discharge their responsibilities. For example, again in this example, whatever we discussed, A is going to transfer ownership of car to B, and at the same time B is going to transfer 2,50,000 cash. Correct? So it means that contract is completed. That is called discharge of contract. Whatever we discussed here is a most positive case, which is called as discharge of contract by performance. But there is a situation, sometimes there may be a situation where it is impossible to perform the contract. Okay, by impossible to perform. This is an example where an Indian company enters contract with China. Because of some relationship issue all imports were stopped, right? Then this is called as a by impossible to perform. And the third way how we can discharge the contract is by novation. By novation means it is like, okay, both the parties agree that we will perform this particular action after 30 days. They agree and they revise the agreement. And then by breach of contract. Interesting point, breach of contract. So what does it mean? Breach of contract means one party rejects or disagree to perform his particular role. In the given example A and B, A is ready to transfer his car, but at the later point B says I will not transfer 2,50,000. Right? So that is a breach of contract. Then A will take back his car or he can go to a court, whatever. But at that time, this is called as a breach of contract where one party disagree to perform the duties as per the agreement. And by lapse of time. By lapse of time. And the last one is by operation of law. If both the parties were not agreeing, the court may give a decision to perform the contract. So these are the 6 ways how we can discharge the contract. Out of these 6 contracts, whatever we the discharge modes, the most important one is a breach of contract. Because in all other 5 cases, contract will be executed by way of by immediately or in future with by negotiation something. But in the case of breach of contract, one party is disagreeing to perform its duties. So in the example what we discussed, A is ready to transfer but B is not ready. Then what all are the remedies available to A? Okay, remedies for breach of contract. Remedies for breach of contract. So contract was executed but they are not able to discharge it and B is refusing to pay the amount. So in this case, what all are the remedies which are available to remedies available to A are called as remedies for breach of contract. There are 5 remedies which are available for any aggrieved party. The first one is rescission, to cancel the complete contract, claim for damages, right? Claim for damages, claim for special performance, and claim for quantum merit, and then the last one is injunction. Any of this action can be taken by aggrieved party in case of breach of contract. This is the complete overview of Indian Contract Act 1872. We will be discussing all these points in detail. If you closely observe this particular explanation, this is a first pillar here. This is a first pillar where we will be discussing key terms. Okay. This is a second pillar where we will be discussing enforceability of law, enforceable by law. And this is a third pillar where we will be discussing discharge of contract, and the fourth pillar remedies of contract, remedies for breach of contract. Guys, clear? So we will be covering all these points in detail in subsequent videos. Before we end our discussion on the introduction side, let us view overview of this particular act. This act came in force in 1872 and applicable to all over India. And the basic objective is to determine the circumstances in which promises made by the parties to a contract shall be legally binding. This is what we discussed, enforceable by law. Okay, identify the situations or cases which can be legally binding, and key definitions what we are going to discuss as we discussed earlier: contract, agreement, offer, promise and consideration. Section 11 to 23 deals with enforceable by law. So this is a competent parties, free consent, legal object. And then we will be discussing other areas, discharge of contracts and remedies for breach of contracts. The section numbers are not serial here, so we will discuss whenever we come to this point. One interesting point about Indian Contract Act 1872 is when it was introduced, it has four parts. The part 1 was dealing with general principles, and then special contracts, and then sale of goods related part, and then partnership. All the four were part of Indian Contract Act 1872, but in 1930, Sale of Goods Act was passed. Goods Act 1930 was passed and removed those sections from there and transferred to here. The same way, in 1932, Partnership Act was passed. Partnership Act, and all the partnership clauses moved here. So right now there are only two parts. Part 1 deals with the general principles, whatever we are discussing here: contract, agreement, promise, consideration, offer, competent parties, free consent, legal object, discharge of contract, remedies for contract. And part 2 deals with indemnity and guarantee, bailment and pledge, and special and agencies. These are special contracts. That's it, guys, on the overview of this Indian Contract Act. In this particular, in the subsequent videos, we will discuss what is contract and types of contract. Thank you very much. I request you to please subscribe my channel.